One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of executives make is not investing in their business network, not making the time to forge strategic relationships across the market, not networking effectively using tools like LinkedIn, not attending enough events, not actually having an overarching strategy to their networking, and in fact, forging those meaningful relationships that are going to pay dividends. Networking doesn't just happen overnight. It's a long-term commitment to being an industry leader, to forging relationships and building rapport with people you do not know, and creating those relationships through business over many years. And the reality is it requires an investment. It requires an investment in your time. It requires an investment in terms of follow-up, and it does require an overarching strategy. And I think this is where a lot of people fall down. Um, Most executives these days, the common mantra is busy, 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 too busy to do that, too busy to, forge those relationships, too busy to keep in touch. And the reality is that when you go and need your network to help, particularly when you're trying to execute a career move, the kudos is not there. The relationships are not in place. People haven't forged, for example, relationships with the top corporate headhunters, which can take many months, if not years, to forge. The relationships might not be outside of their industry, which may be crucial if you need to do an industry change. The relationships might not even be in your own friend circle because you haven't taken the time to keep in touch with people, and you've allowed yourself to become so busy that you just focus on doing the bare basics. Now, I think it's a huge mistake, and the reality is with technology and advancements and tools like LinkedIn, there's no reason why you can't be staying in touch with people, whether that be in social or business media, reaching out, using your thought leadership as a reason to keep in touch with people and stay on people's minds, making a real plan to go to certain events on a monthly or quarterly basis, pushing yourself a little bit outside of your comfort zone to go to different events that you normally wouldn't attend, setting up the right sort of strategy so that when you go to those events that you network effectively across the event, forge the right relationships, and then do the necessary follow-up and so on. It does require a commitment, but the investment is worthwhile. Over the years, I have made a lot of investment in strategic networking. I have a powerful business network. I regularly touch base with the key people in my network, and it comes back in kind. As a result, I get referrals of business. I get information sent to me. I get invitations sent to me. Every week, there wouldn't be a week that doesn't go past where I don't get at least 10 invitations to events, that I don't get invited into some of the most powerful and influential boardroom table conversations. That is an incredible honor, but it's come about through years and years of business networking and delivering results. So think about what your networking strategy is today. Think about whether your networking is delivering the results that you want. Think about where your circle of influence lies, and think about where you want to be. And I know quite a few years ago, about 10 years ago, I made this strategic decision that I did want to be more in contact with the board level. So needed to be connecting more in with chairs and non-execs. I needed to be socializing with them. I needed to be in the right circles for that to happen naturally. I needed to be doing the right type of events to come into contact with those people. And, a lot of people these days, are prepared to sort of, try and reach out to people from a cold start, but not thinking about the power of the introductions that can happen to forge those relationships with the right people. So you've got to think about your networks in terms of the clubs where people network socially and in a business context. You need to think about that circle of influence and who can introduce you to who, and who would, start to benefit from being introduced to you and what you actually bring to that table. Very, very important thoughts to get right, and it does not just happen overnight, and it does not just happen ad hoc. So it does require that commitment. So my challenge to you is, what is your philosophy on networking? What do you hope to gain from your network in the year ahead? And how are you going to go about implementing a networking strategy that's going to deliver results?